it's not socially acceptable to scream blood for the blood god in public. But when you do it, ironically, in a sea of 50,000 people, this is the most appropriate place to do this.
We get to know a bit more about the guy behind Miniwargamer Dave.
Where is he? Yeah.
He's this jester who's riding a flaming skull, and I'm like, okay, I don't care what faction that is, but that's definitely the faction I'll be playing in this game.
At the beginning, you're standing in front of 2 giant halls full of dopamine, and it's your job to go and sort of milk it.
Here's the bucket, milk away. Yeah, there you go.
What would be your pitch to someone that has never loves hobbying, but never been to UK Games Expo? Why would you go?
Oh, by the way, there's a convention that exists in the UK, which is really massive, and it has 50,000 people, which I never heard of before a couple years ago, that you're probably going to want to go to.
I mean, you convinced me, and I'm already going.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Sprue Goons podcast with me, Dickie, Darren, and this week a very special guest, another one. Darren's pulling them all out the bag. Miniwargamer Dave.
Wow. Hi, how are you? Dickie, Darren, and Dave, so 3 Ds. I love it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I see it. Triple D. So we'll get straight into it. We'll talk a bit of hobby nonsense, and in true format, we'll start with Dave. What have you been up to? What are you working on?
Well, I mean, there's always a lot of kind of things that we work on from time to time. And, it's nothing too interesting. But for those listening, it would be a lot of collecting of skulls and a lot of corning it up. So there's always a lot of that. I'm working on a video right now, which kind of shows models and tells a little bit of lore, and so that's always fun.
Nice.
And there might be some grim darkness and some trenches. Not to be too specific there, because there's some fun factor. But if you like demons that are coming out of warp, hell realms, then I love that stuff too. I gravitate to that. I mean, it's just where the mind lives on a natural basis.
Anything that comes out of hell or some sort of warp gate.
Yeah. You say those words together, and I'm gonna be like, it's my bias goes off, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm in there. Yeah, show me the gore, show me the slaughter. So yeah, that's kind of in a general sense. I'm gonna be building a hobby studio pretty soon. I say building, I mean organizing a desk with paints. That's me building a hobby studio.
Yeah.
Which is not building it. It's just like trying to focus the hobby ADHD for more than 8 seconds, and then like get to like a project. Because typically when I paint something, it's like, all right, let's do it here. Let's portable set up here. Maybe that's a solution, isn't it? To have like a portable hobby thing set up that you just bring everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's sort of it's that mental thing of like wanting to have the perfect setup. So then that's kind of like an ADHD thing, right? Which is I'll paint my army when I've got like all the right paints, all the right brushes, all the right models, all the right equipment. So it's but yeah, all you really need is a brush, some paints, and a kitchen worktop, or
That's really it. Yeah, that's true. And there's one final thing I'll say here in regards to this is like this here. Okay, this brush. This was gifted to me by someone I met at Adepticon, and this is one of those packages where you get like 10 of them for like $5. It's like super cheap on Amazon. And she was giving them out. She gave me one, and I found myself doing this. And so for those listening, I was kind of just like brushing my wrist, and I was doing that for like a good hour. And a good hour later, I was like, "Why am I doing this? Why is this soothing?" So it is though, and it's like calming me down. I'm in like the Zen flow right now, and it's the brush that was doing it. So it's whether you're painting minis or you're like literally dry brushing your wrist, it's good. It kind of fits. Yeah. So this is a makeup brush, and that was kind of completely pointless.
A new range of products. I can see a new range of products right now. It's
that's right.
The range, different sizes for different wrists.
Different yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So.
But yeah. What have we been working on?
Well, full disclosure, I'm hopefully moving home soon, so I've got a good excuse. I haven't been doing too much, trying to pack things up and get ready. So that's kind of that said. It's mainly for me well, doing Star Wars Legion, bit of
Yeah.
Legion, getting ready for some of that because is it in the autumn or the fall, as you guys call it? But I think they're re-releasing some of the new start sets, so can't wait. I'm ready for that. I want to get the new Empire one, so that's what I'm gearing up for.
Oh, so you played the dark side?
Oh yes,
Yeah,
always.
yeah. I was going to ask. That was my question.
Yeah, always. No rebels here.
Yeah, that's sort of your MO.
Yes. Oh yeah. I painted about 8 Darth Vaders, so why not another one?
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
I so appreciate you saying 8. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Khorne moves. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But yeah.
Might have been done on purpose,
Speaking my language.
But yeah, we picked up Salute, which is an expo in the UK. We picked up a little game called Zoom Palace, which is sort of like a battle royale with animals. You get 4 classes. You're sort of like a skirmish game. It's crazy, and the miniatures look absolutely brilliant. We kind of fell in love with it as soon as we saw it.
Can you be bulls?
So we've been.
Can you be cows and bulls and pigs?
Yeah, I think there is. I think
there might be cows. Yeah,
cows.
Yeah.
Think of any kind of animal.
There's cats, badgers, foxes, rabbits, crows, frogs.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, we've painted a little bit of that up. We haven't actually had a game yet, but it's on the cards.
Talk about
that. Yeah. But yeah, that one's on the cards. But we have been gaming quite a bit, but we've been playing a lot of Zombicide. Are you a Zombicide fan?
I am, yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We've been playing. We've just finished Green Horde.
The Green. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There was a quick anecdote. There was once upon a time James from Siege Studios. He invited me to his house to play Zombicide. And so I went to his place, and I made the mistake of having a little bit too much fun the night before. So I was feeling a little under the weather the morning of, and so he picked me up, and we're on his way to his house, and I'm like staving off, like I'm holding back, kind of the feelings inside my gut. Let's put it that way, right? And I just had to tell him, like I was so embarrassed, like, and I told him, like, James, like, I'm actually not feeling really well. Do you mind if we stop and get some water and maybe some bread? And it's such an odd request. Like, okay, we're gonna go to like a grocery store or like a grocery. And so we stop at this convenience store, corner shop, and we get some water, and they just happen to have bread there, which is funny. That doesn't. But anyway, like, okay, eat whatever, and then we go to his place, and it's like, okay, no, I gotta go to the washroom now, and then so it's, and he could hear me in there, just like. And he he knew exactly what was going on, right? Here I am trying to be like, oh no, I'm feeling a little under the weather, and I'm trying to lying through my teeth and so embarrassed. And he's like, it's okay, Dave, it's all right. No, I'm okay to nurse you back to a place where we can play Zombicide. Yeah, and then you can retch for different reasons, right? So, he was very very accommodating, very nice, and so we had a lot of fun the afternoon after the hump of the morning. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting in the car. I was like holding my stomach, like,
oh,
so ridiculous. Oh my goodness. But that's my Zombicide experience recently. But it was a lot of fun to play the game.
Which version was it?
It was just a classic, kind of like the classic
nice.
version, where one of my favorites is actually going into. I always like to disturb things, right? Like, so I like to go inside a building and be like, yeah, you could possibly make noise here. Like, well, okay, if you make noise, you make noise. I want to get the loot. I want to see what's inside here. That's what I want at whatever the cost. I don't care who's around the corner. I don't care if I can see them. I'm still going to do it. So,
sounds like you, Darren. You like to sit in a room and just search it the whole game. Yeah. Darren, get out, stop looking for loot, kill something. But I'll just do one more search just in case.
Or go and open the room, spawn like 30 zombies and just run.
Yeah.
Just run, yeah. Disturb the hornet's nest and then run.
Yeah. We played the Invader one, which is sort of like the sci-fi one. We finished that, and then went on to Green Horde, and we've just finished Green Horde, and we're thinking about maybe taking a little break because we've played Zombicide for like 20 weeks straight.
Yeah.
So, but we got the Wild West one, so it's
that's next
on the cards. But yeah, maybe what we find is that playing Zombicide is fine. Like it's really, it's a great game. It's co-op. We kind of like co-op games, but in terms of like spurring on our motivation to paint stuff, it sort of doesn't really get there. Like we find like if you're playing like a game of Warhammer or a Star Wars Legion and you're playing with unpainted minis, it pains us. Yes. Whereas with Zombicide, it's kind of like, oh, well, it's kind of a board game. They don't really need to be painted. So for hobby motivation, it's Zombicide we found isn't the best.
Nah, bit of a killer.
But, I have a theory about that. I have a theory as to why, and I don't tell me if you agree. It's like, okay, with Warhammer, you spend so much time and investment, like emotional investment, building the pieces, and so you're like. And like, let's forget the fact that you get bonus points for having painted minis, like actual score points in the game itself.
Yeah.
But forget that for a second. Like the actual time spent assembling, building, like you're already at that stage. So like adding paint is actually the fun part of that, right?
Yeah.
Versus Zombicide, where you can play out of the box, and there's not necessarily a strong motivation or even necessity to paint the minis, other than aesthetic preference. And if you're a gamer, then it's like, well, I want to get straight to the game, so I'm just going to play. Yeah. And the replayability of that game is like massive. So you can like play it 20 times, and it's like I still haven't painted them. I just have fun playing, and like I don't really want to paint them. I have more fun playing than I do painting these ones in particular. So just that's my theory. It's my theory on it.
Good theory.
Yeah, it's a good theory. I mean, it stacks up because we haven't, we've painted a couple, but yeah, we haven't. I've painted a couple that I haven't painted. You sort of see with Zombicide, we tend to play as the same characters. So when you play the campaign, you get a little bit closer to those characters. So I painted one of my characters from Invader, and I painted one of my characters from from Green Horde. But yeah, that's it. We haven't painted the 90 zombies that it comes with. There's no burning desire to do that. Weirdly enough.
If there was like an in-game rule though to like kind of motivate it, like for instance, is like, okay, if you paint them red, then they move a little further and go faster. If there's something like that where it's like one side has it painted, one side doesn't, you have a clear advantage, then like you kind of have to in order to keep up. But yeah, there's no impetus right now.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, if you painted the heroes, they get an ability when they're painted. That would spur me on. They'd be painted. So yeah, but yeah, other than that,
not much.
Not much. Bit of a slim picking. Yeah. Okay, right. Let's get into the meat of the episode. Where we meet Dave. We get to know a bit more about the guy behind Miniwargamer Dave.
Where is he?
And we'll start with the obligatory question that you've probably been asked 1,000 times, but we'll try not to ask too many of these. How did you get into the hobby?
So, historically, my answer has been Lord of the Rings got me into the hobby when I was in my early 20s, and Matthew, one of my best friends growing up, who's my business partner in Miniwargaming, introduced me to the game. However, I'm going to amend that because if I think back on it, by the way, it's still his fault because we grew up. I've known Matt since I was 5. Okay, so like we grew up together. He invited me to play a tabletop game made with pewter miniatures. They were mechs, and there was a grid, and it was Mech Warrior. Okay. It was BattleTech. So there's BattleTech, Battlespace, Mech Warrior. It was all those. And so that was actually, technically speaking, I mean, aside from Risk, the tabletop game Risk, right? Yeah. Of course, and chess. Obviously, there's like the ubiquitous games that many people know about. We're talking specifically miniature tabletop wargaming, right? That was my first experience into that. And so the movement and mechanics and the shooting from afar and the distances and the armor facings and the damage results and all that stuff, I would say Mech Warrior is the proper kind of experience with that. Aside from years later when I would eventually play Lord of the Rings and be the Forces of Darkness, of course.
Of course.
And I like never won playing with Lord of the Rings, right? Because the heroes are overpowered. Like you fight against like you fight against the Fellowship and like you're done.
Yeah.
Right. I just wanted to throw a whole bunch of goblins at him to see his reaction. But so I would say that's when I first got it. Teenage years, and that got me into fighting fantasy as well. So again, Matt got me into that. Port Black Sand. So we can thank Sir Ian Livingston for that.
Oh yeah.
And I would say teenage years, kind of like in and out of RPGs, tabletop games, and then for real, seriously, early 20s, Lord of the Rings, and then the rest is history from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So which army did you choose for Lord of the Rings, Darren, when you went for it? Some certain overpowered faction that you went for, Dave just mentioned.
Yeah, a few, not many characters in it.
No.
Yeah.
I went Isengard, and you went, I'll go for the Fellowship. Oh, well.
Yeah, but that was only because it was, 9 models to
Yeah.
You got a bit of plot armor.
Yeah, oh, yeah, massively.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit.
I mean, they're still in the box. So.
Yeah, we don't.
But you didn't feel the pain of playing against them. But yeah, that's actually one thing that's on our ever-growing list. Lord of the Rings, but yeah, so I'm assuming you're an advocate for that. You'd say get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ironically, it's been a while since I've played Lord of the Rings proper, the tabletop game, because since discovering Warhammer 40K, I mean, things kind of pale in comparison to the Chaos Space Marine lived experience when you see those spiky bits and you kind of see that aesthetic, and it's almost like you see something that you always knew was missing in your life, but you only knew that the moment you saw the thing itself, and so that's like, okay, that is what I want.
Yeah, that's what this was all leading up to.
That's right. Yeah, all the years of losing the Forces of Darkness. Now here are the true Forces of Darkness, where we can really dial up the deviance that we are.
Yeah, nice. So obviously we're miniature painters. Like we're I say that as in we're more painters than we are gamers. Like we do game, but our main love for the hobby is the models. Pushing the painting techniques and kind of showing people how to maybe like paint stuff quickly and
or not
in that case, or not at all.
Leaving them in the box.
But yeah, are you a big painter?
I am I would say out of playing, painting, lore, out of all that, the biggest hobby that I gravitate to is actually collecting miniatures.
Yeah.
And so I have I would call them healthy sized collections.
You're probably one of the only people that would call it healthy, but
I don't demonize or judge other people's obsessions, and so and so people do different things, and I would say, I mean, I certainly do paint miniatures, but I go in ebbs and flows of kind of seasons of painting, and it's certainly inspiration based. It's like, I must. It's not even like I want to paint those. It's like I must paint these. I have to get this out of my system. And then once it's done for a while, and then I kind of go back to it. But collecting the miniatures themselves and learning of kind of, I guess, everything about the mini, right? Well, what's this mini made out of? Like who made this? Who sculpted this? Right? What are the different variations of it? Do people like to convert this? Like Khorne the Betrayer. Why is there so many conversions of Khorne out there? Or is it just my reticular activator, and that's what my own personalized algorithm is feeding me, and that's what I think but is actually many characters is happening this way, which is probably more probable. But and like miniature conversion is by far my favorite aspect of the hobby, because instant novelty, instant personalization, and unique factor comes into play there. You can, there's a million Space Marines, but there's only one converted by Dickie. right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Yeah, and there's only one
Definitely.
painted this way by Darren, so it's
Yep.
like it I love that, and then I get to know the story as to why you painted it that way. Why is that meaningful to you?
Mm.
And then your passion comes out through there, and then passion's contagious. It's one of those mind viruses that just latches on, and it's like, yeah, I'm getting all hyped up. And it's not even my mini; it's your mini. But
Yeah.
it's just hearing you talk about it is just firing all those synapses, and I'm like, we're speaking the same language now,
Mm.
and so that's my thing. I love to see those minis, see the conversions, see the paint jobs, learn the stories behind them, get to know the people behind them, and then make content around that.
Yeah.
More so than gaming, because for
Yeah.
many years it was doing battle reports and it was playing the games, which I still do from time to time. But it's actually more so focused on the miniatures and the paint jobs and the people now,
Yeah.
which is
I think
yeah,
it's that level of customization, isn't it? That's the bit of the hobby that you can change.
yes,
The law is the law, and
hmm
The
yeah,
rules are the rules.
the blood angels are blood angels, but you kind of, you can, yeah, the rules are the rules, exactly. But yeah, there's the bits that you can change, the bits that you can kit bash or color scheme, and we actually had can't remember what it came from.
Oh,
I
God.
think it was someone. I think someone commented, or maybe it was a listener's question. Listener's question on the podcast.
I
But
know what you're going to say.
yeah, so there was a guy. There was a guy that commented, and his name was Cosmic Salmon, and we thought, what an amazing name. And then we started sort of like riffing and saying, what if there was a chapter called the Cosmic Salmons?
Yeah.
And there was like, they had like pearlescent armor and
Like fish, we like the
Yeah.
turbo door paints. That we
that's it,
colour
yeah,
the
the color
Yep,
shift paints, and we're like, that kind of just shows it, that sort of, you can just have an idea, and
Well, we're going
Why
to do
not?
it. We are going to make that chapter.
We will
That
do it,
is
yeah.
that is happening. But we just got to think of like the chapter master. What was it, Captain
John West.
John West or Birdseye? Captain Birdseye for the chapter master. We got to keep quiet. People might steal our idea.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah. Well, hey, you said it. Now you're saying it, and now it's publicized. Now there's
That's
a date
it.
attached to that,
Yeah,
and so you're the first to do it now.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
That'll stand
Sneak,
up in
sneak,
court,
dude.
I reckon.
Yeah. No, I love it. You personalize it, and that's so cool. And then, like you just mentioned, Turbo Dark, right? Like perfect paint range to apply to that concept, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
variety is so awesome in the community, like, in terms of the hobby. Like you just like, there's grim dark options, there's vibrant options, there's your standard options, which are clear cut and they're not confusing. Then there's very confusing options, but they're beautiful, and so it's wonderful. Like I see all those paints behind you, and I love it. I just want to dive in there, and it looks like multiple brands too, and it's multiple
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. Bit of everything. But yeah, we've been using quite a bit of Pro Acryl recently. That's yeah. That's definitely come on the radar. Louise Sugden's set that she released, the kind of double triad. I've used that so much. The colors are so good.
Nice.
But yeah, there was definitely a period of sort of paint addiction.
Well, what do you mean period? I would still
Yeah.
there. Really. I want to get some of the turbo door.
Yeah,
You do need to get some of those.
But yeah, like every convention we went to, there was quite a lot of paint that was bought. So.
I bought 4. Well, you bought colours that you already had. You got them home. Went, I've already got this.
That is true. Yeah, I bought. I think I bought 4 scale 75. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, that is amazing. I get home and I've got 4 almost identical Vallejo model colours. I so close that I took a picture and sent it to the guys, and just like, yeah, I don't know what's happened here, but
I don't regret it.
Yeah, I'm keeping them all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all part of the hobby experience. It's just more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, what's your favourite thing about the hobby? And again, we've kind of, I guess, we've
touched on that.
Touched on it a little bit in terms of like converting and the customization. But if you if you had to pick one specific favourite thing.
Okay, well, I mean, this is a cheat code, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm a dad, and playing the game with my kids, like with my yeah. So that, I mean, that's okay. So here's a story to illustrate why it's my favorite, because it's the one instance where I get to kind of separate myself from, I suppose, Miniwargamer Dave,
Mm,
and then Dave, right?
Mm.
If that makes sense.
yeah.
And so I was at Adepticon and brought my family for the first time. And we have a booth there, and we're setting up our Ravage Star minis, and we're selling them. And there's other stuff too that we're doing gaming demos and stuff, and hopping around from different booths and seeing all the stuff, all the beautiful plastic crack that surrounds us, right?
Oh yes.
Selfies, videos, and a lot of excitement. And then my son comes up to me, my son Morgan. He's like, "Hey, Dad, I played this demo game at this booth, and I really like the game. Uh, can you come with me, and can we go buy the game?" And I'm like, this is like every hobby dad's like best
Oh
case scenario,
yeah.
right? And it's like, oh, like obviously the answer is like yes, immediately, let's go right now. But and as I said before, the separation between the kind of like mini wargamer Dave and then Dave,
Mm.
because he asked me that right in the middle of there was 4 dudes there, and we're doing push-ups. We're doing a just move challenge. Right. So, and then like there's people like, taking video with their phones. It's like, okay, yeah, just do 2 more, 3 more push-ups. And like, so we're right in the middle of this. And as he's saying this, and so I'm like, okay, all right, this is actually my worst case scenario. I didn't want this to happen. It's my greatest fear. I didn't want like my 2 loves to be like clashing. Obviously my son wins, right? Cause like that wins in the
Mm.
end. And so I said to him, do you want to do some push-ups with us? Because then he can do it with us. And then we can go and get the thing, because the thing will be there. The game will be there.
Yeah.
They will have my money probably, right? Uh, and so eventually what happened was I said, okay, Morgan, don't go anywhere. Stay right here, and then we'll leave in just a minute. He's like, okay, all right. And so I finished doing the push-ups, and then, okay, cool. Fist bumps. And I say to Morgan, okay, let's go. And then he's sitting there on a chair on his phone playing this app game. And he's like, it's okay. Never mind. I'm like, wait, no, dude, it's time to go. And I know him. I know why he's saying this. He's saying this because he's thinking to himself, because in his perspective is like, Dad's at work right now. Dad's promoting things. Dad's meeting people like that. Dad goes to conventions to actually work. This isn't fun in the same way for Dad as it would be for me.
Mm.
And he's super empathetic, and he's super like considerate. He's like, no, I don't want to. I know you're busy, Dad. Right? That's what he's thinking. And so he's like, no, it's okay. And in my mind, I'm like, oh no, hold on. You think you're being considerate, but no, this is the time to go.
Mm.
Right? And so I'm like, no, it's okay, Morg, let's go. And he's like, nah, it's okay. And then I said, because I had to cut through all the distraction, right? And so I said, all right, Morgan, it's time to go get that game. Let's go get the game. Now is the time to move. And he's like, okay, all right. So we go. And then as we're walking away from the booth, my other son, Ryan, sees us leaving, and he pops out of nowhere. He's like, oh, you guys on your way to Heroescape? And little did I know, they both actually went to the booth, did a demo game, both liked it, came back, made a plan to ask me to go there with them after the fact. And he was just sitting back. He figures, okay, I'm just gonna, Morgan's gonna go ask Dad, and I'm just gonna wait here. And when it's time to go, I'm gonna go, right? And so he's the war gamer. He's the one that gets into the rules and stuff, and he knows all these things, right? So we go up together and we go inside the booth, okay? And then typically when I go into a booth, it's a different experience. It's not what am I gonna buy. It's I'm taking pictures. I'm looking at stuff. I'm seeing the plastic crack, right? It's mini wargamer Dave in a booth.
Yeah.
It's not Dad Dave in a booth. And so the second I get into that booth, mini wargamer Dave was outside of that booth. It was Dad Dave. And so then the thoughts came. I'm like, okay, all right. So how much is going to cost? Okay, what's this? Or a starter set here. Okay, here's an expansion pack with this. And all right, here's the guy here. He's trying to sell me on the thing. And oh, I know what's happening there. Here's the fear of loss there. Okay, I see. All right. And so like all of these considerations, right? And I'm like, all right, hold on, what's happening? Here's a completely different mindset inside this booth, and it's like mild stress thinking about the commitment of money versus the fun that is to be had, which is typically how I enter a booth. It's like, okay, what's the fun here? Let's promote this thing here. Let's celebrate this thing here, and let's take a picture of this here. And so I saw this demo game there. It was like, $40 or whatever. And I'm like, okay, here's a demo set for 2 players. Kind of starter thing to get whet your appetite, right? and then there's the bigger mega set for 240. Okay, and I made the mistake of saying to the boys, I'm like, so which one do you want? And the second I asked the question, I know I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. I
Yeah.
asked them, and of course they're gonna say the bigger set, right? And Morgan likes to deliberate, right? So he's like, well, and he was kind of unsure. But Ryan, like I said, Ryan, he's very direct, and he's the wargamer, right? And so he instantly knew. He's like, well, Dad, we need to get the mega set because it has terrain that's included, and it's a 4-player, so that means you can play 2 with us. And like he just checkmated me with logic,
Yeah,
right?
got you there.
And then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yep, that's probably the one I'm going to buy, but I'm not going to just agree to it yet. I got to make them think I'm not going to get it, just to make them like, make them think I'm not going to get it because I'm going to spend this money. And so it became like this, like a weird opposite experience that I typically have going into a booth, right? Typically it's like, let's get all the games as opposed to, we're going to have to make this commitment and sell this thing and it's going to be used after the fact. Like it was dad brain in mode. Right. And there's a few moments where it's like, no, just do something else. Where I suppose Miniwargamer Dave was trying to creep in. It's like, no. Right now you're outside of this booth. And I'm going to talk to you like I talk to them. Like that. Now we have to lay down like the rules. You stay out there while I make this decision. And so I finally decided, all right, we're going to get the mega set, but we're not going to get the $240 one. We're going to get the $120 one because those come with unpainted miniatures, which means that there's hobby opportunity as well, right? And much to my surprise, Ryan goes, "Oh, that's actually better, Dad, because we can paint the minis."
Nice. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, okay, all right, cool. So my favorite experience is the fact that there is a colliding of worlds when it comes to my day-to-day and kind of home life, where my kids are at the age and at the stage where I get to experience this with them, like finally.
Yeah.
They're kind of preteen, teenage years now where they're getting into the rules. They're figuring out their factions. They actually got me into HeroScape. They learned the rules first. They did a demo game and they were teaching me at home. Right? Like
That's
that was the best thing ever. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
good answer.
Yeah, very good answer. Yeah. And I'm gonna flip it and say, what's your least favourite thing about the hobby? No, we've had that absolutely beautiful, heartwarming story about how amazing it is and fatherhood and connection. And, right, what do you hate?
What do I hate? What do I hate about this? Okay, well, I mean, here's an obvious one. The thing I certainly dislike is there's certainly some elitism and there's some gatekeeping that happens, and it's always interesting because I've been on both sides of that fence, and it's the fascinating thing to me is that both sides feel like they're justified. Like for example, classic Marines are the way to go, and Primaris are no. Those are no good. Don't get on that bandwagon of all the new stuff. It's just all the corporate trying to make money, and so it's like, okay, so there's that stance which just feels justified. It's like, okay, yeah, I can get that. And then on the other side, it's like, man, Primaris Marines, the proportions are awesome, and you can paint them really well. You can kit bash them, and look how many people they're getting into the hobby. So it's like, gatekeeping's a thing. And obviously there's like toxic gatekeeping. I'm not talking about that because that's an obvious, like, no. Like be inclusive, get people into the hobby. Don't be like criticizing stuff that shouldn't be criticized. Like here's a kid with a paint job. What do you think? Oh, you need to fix this and this and this and this and this. When the answer should be, damn, that's awesome. You painted a mini. What did you love painting about this? You're making me happy showing me this, period. So like, what was your favorite part of it? I want to know what your favorite part was, right? Like that's a celebration. I'm talking about those like nitpicky things, the gatekeeping type of elitist type of attitudes that go towards the inconsequential things. That would be my probably least favorite thing about the hobby.
And Primaris are better. I think anyway.
Unless you're a Tau player, then obviously that's the wrong way to go. You don't want to collect Tau.
Don't get me started. Oh.
So even though mechs got you into the hobby, you still hate out.
Hey, that's the best thing about getting into the hobby with a friend, right? Like they got to play the opposing side.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, as a favor, he's doing that.
You can take the towel then.
Yeah, I'll take the towel. Yeah.
Which is ironic because I like Gundam, so that's a bit ironic.
Oh, it is, yeah.
I think it's the Tao is sort of the love to hate, isn't it?
Yeah, because I believe that I'm a firm believer in this, and it's I suppose it's based on patterns of behavior. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe that we, as players, as humans, gravitate to the armies that reflect our personalities.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I suppose the irony is that I don't particularly find anything wrong with Tau players, but it's the faction itself that I find things wrong with. So it's like, and then it becomes a question of, dude, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and that's maybe there's a little bit of cognitive dissonance there. It's like, dude, you could have picked any faction. Why that one?
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. There are so many.
Oh, well, that's making me doubt my choice of Star Wars Legion now. Yeah, my favourite is the Empire. What's that say about me?
I mean, oh god, we haven't got enough time for that. That's another episode.
It's again, I think it's a reflection, right? It's like, how do you feel about structures and authority?
Yeah.
What's your attitude towards that, right? How do you feel being in that position of power, and what do you do with that power?
You did say that you do like a fallen hero.
I do love a fallen hero, yeah.
So maybe there's something.
It's got to be that. I think, yeah, that's my favourite kind of archetype, a fallen hero.
Yeah, so, it's a cool story. I think
it is a cool story.
Yeah. This is a bit of a fun question, but what would your non-hobby YouTube channel be?
Movies, 100% movies. Yeah,
nice.
I grew up loving movies, watching movies. I'd watch, I'm in the cinema weekly. Growing up, I used to play this game, 7 Degrees of Separation, where you could like pick 2 actors and I can link them through other actors and other movies that they've been in.
Yeah, wow. That's cool.
And just as a fun kind of personal anecdote, because I was in a film with other actors who are part of the Screen Actors Guild, I'm able to link myself to those actors now. So nice. That's like it's like a personal victory. And so it's like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah. And so anyway, so movies, 1000%. I'd probably do video essays on movies and talking about characters and story. It would be story driven, character driven,
cool.
Things like that.
Yeah, I think the 7 Degrees of Separation would be cool. To do little shorts of, right, we're going to get from here to here. Let's go. How do we get? So like, how do we get from Back to the Future to Schindler's List? Like, what? How's he going to get there? That's kind
you've said it first, so that's it now.
Yeah, that's it. You get millions of views. Like, you said it here first.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. That's a really good one, actually. Oh, okay. Yeah. There is a movie with because Liam Neeson, he's in so many movies with so many other actors, right? So that's a relatively easy one. Yeah. I go Elizabeth Shue with Back to the Future, right? Because she's in Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon, and then when you're with Kevin Bacon, then you're connected to everyone. They're like, there's Julia Roberts right there, right? In Flatliners, and then wasn't there a Julia Roberts Liam Neeson movie once upon a time? Yeah, there might have been.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You could do it with models.
No, don't. Oh my god!
How do we get from
models to movies?
Yeah. How do we get from Magnus the Red to Jurassic Park?
Henry Cavill, and you could link it that way.
Yeah, you could.
Oh yeah, he'd be a relevant one, right? Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. So talk to us a bit about Just Move.
Ooh, Just Move. So, okay, Just Move. I think, so first off, Just Move, for those who don't know, is exactly what you think it is. It's a phrase in all caps that is meant to just get you to move. And what I thought it'd be a good idea to maybe like tether that to a talisman or
Mhm.
a miniature. And whenever you see this said miniature, which happens to have Just Move on the pile of skulls that the mini is on,
Yeah,
which is a Just
great
Move
miniature.
Berserker Dave mini, created by Titan Forge. Thank you very much. They designed it. They sculpted it. Uh, it's meant to just get you to move, and because you're putting your hobby shelf in front of you, right? Because that's typically when you're sitting down, not
Yeah.
moving. Right? So it's like, all right, look at the Just Move. Okay, stand up, do 10 squats, sit back down. Because any movement, when there is kind of like a baseline sedentary lifestyle, any movement is beneficial. Heck, any movement is beneficial no matter the stage of life you're at or whatever. Now, disclaimer, not being a fitness expert in fitness, a professional, whatever, know your own body and consult the professionals that you need to get moving. And if you actually want to exercise and do all that stuff, Just Move is a mindset that just gets you moving. And the reason why I was so enthusiastic, or I am so enthusiastic about it, is because by adopting that mindset of just move, kind of took out the feel bads for not exercising on a regular basis and
Yeah.
for not moving and for missing workouts or whatever, because there'd be so much guilt, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym an hour a day, 5 days a week. Well, I missed Tuesday. Oh man, I missed the whole day. Man, I suck. Oh yeah. And then you go the next day, and so there's like, why is there a feel bad in there? It's life happens, and so if you do like calf raises as you're washing the dishes, that's extra movement that you would not have normally done. And the body itself records the reps and the sets and all. The body remembers. You don't technically have to track any of it because, yeah, your body just conditions itself to get better. And in the process of kind of changing my mindset, I dropped 70 pounds.
Wow.
And I went down to a weight where I was lighter on my feet and I could do more things. Like I tried a 1-arm push-up and I could do it for the first time in my life, and I'm 40. And so it's like, I didn't even know I could do that. And it's because I'm moving, I'm doing push-ups. And apparently when you say things online a lot and you get, other people are saying those same things, it kind of creates this echo chamber feedback loop. And when those same people see you at conventions, and the thing that you once upon a time said, they're now saying back to you, and now you're doing push-ups together. It just becomes a thing. Yeah, and which is the most ironic thing in my mind. I think it's hilarious because in my mind, I'm not a fitness guy. I'm not an exercise guru at all. I'm a normal dude who just like, at least I think I'm normal. But I move normally. You know what I mean? I'm not an athlete. I'm not like any of this stuff. I do care about being healthy, especially getting on in years, and I want to have mobility and functional movement. Like I don't want to be at any age, but especially older. I don't want to be like, oh, I can't move. My legs don't work because I just don't use them ever. Even though I have legs and I can use them, I think it's a bit of a shame to kind of have something and to just let it deteriorate for no good reason. And so it's the habits really that kind of are instilled. So just move is a very simple phrase that it's like, just move. Okay. All right. Yeah. Just move and, do some I'm just going to do it right now. Like just do like, even this, like I can simultaneously talk to you on the podcast and still like do a stretch squat where the time is going to pass anyway. It's incidental time. It's not like, oh wait, I'll be back in 2 minutes after I've done that. No, I'm doing it. Right. and then that's it. And so by doing that, I don't tether any sort of condition to I have to be in a gym to exercise. I can just literally bring my gym with me in my brain and move wherever I am.
Yeah, I love it. I thought your YouTube channel was going to be Just Move.
Yeah, so did I. I thought too. And then I discovered that doing that's just not where, because I love miniatures and I love. And it's very ironic because originally it was like, okay, I'm going to separate kind of, because it's, mini wargaming is battle reports and it's gaming. And so I'm going to start a new channel where it's just move. So I'm going to just move to a new channel. Still do content on the main channel and do stuff from, as I normally do and whatever. And but like kind of focus on just move. And by doing that, I discovered that the thing I actually wanted to do was focus on people and
Mm.
miniatures. And Just Move's a part of that,
Yeah.
but it's more so integrated into the stuff that's organically a part of that. Like, for instance, I recently had a guest, Xerxes from Germany. He visited and he did we filmed his conversions, going back to conversions for a
Mm.
second. And it was awesome. Did an interview, talking about all the story of his hobby journey and all that stuff. And he happened to paint a Just Move miniature. We did some push-ups together that found its way into the videos that I've edited and cut together. And so it's a part of it,
Yeah.
but it's not the thing. Because again, for it to be the thing would mean that I would need to become a thing, like the professional.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm already struggling with imposter syndrome, guys. Like, and to add that layer on top of it, it's like, no, that's going too far, right? Like,
Yeah, it's also sort of slightly, is it sort of paradoxical that the whole point of the Just Move is you're not overcomplicating it. Whereas
exactly.
if you create a channel which is Just Move, all of a sudden you've got to learn about fitness, you've got to learn about nutrition, you've got to become an expert. Whereas the whole point of it is you don't need to be an expert, you don't need to go to the gym, you just need to move. So
That's it.
I think it works well. It's your mini Wargamer Dave, by the way, Just Move.
Yeah, exactly. You said it really well, very succinctly. I took 15 minutes to say it, and you said it in 15
Yeah,
seconds.
that's why he does most of the talking, you see, because he knows.
Yeah, but you do all the work for me. I just signed it up. Yeah. Last question. What do you think of the UK?
Why do I laugh to that? Well, it's okay. Having visited the UK a number of times now, geez, I don't even know what it is, 10, 12 times, in the very recent past too, just the past few years. My impression, because perspective's reality. Every time I go, I always meet friendly, kind people, and we have a blast. And which makes people laugh when I'm there and I say these things. They're like, Dave, have you been here? The sky's gray. The sun's never out. Yeah. And so it's like, well, the sun is literally shining right now that I'm here. Maybe it's a time of year that I always visit. So there's that too, right? So it's like, I always go in May. So that's
Yeah.
like, the 2 weeks out of the year, the sun's up. I don't know. So like,
No, that's about right.
It's about right.
Yeah.
I love the UK. Like it's I think it's a romanticized perspective of what the UK is. Because for me, the UK is Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Mm.
The UK is miniature tabletop wargaming and conventions. The UK is visiting friends and going out and playing games and having a blast and having pseudo vacation work trips. So it's like, I love the UK. UK equals good, awesome things every time. So it's always excitement. There's always a fun, good reason why I'm going, such as UK Games Expo. That's the reason why I'm going.
Yeah.
A very short amount of time from now. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, good to hear.
Yeah.
Right, on to the next bit, which is we're going to be talking to Dave about UK Games Expo. So we know he's a big part of it.
Massive part, yeah.
Usually dressed in a massive Space Marine costume. So
I don't know why.
kind of starts with a bang. But yeah, what are your? You just start by kind of saying what your favourite bits are. What is the UK Games Expo for you?
So for me, it was only a few years ago that I actually first heard of the UK Games Expo. Again, kind of just being on this side of the pond and kind of being involved in the conventions over here on this side. It was my best mate Gaz, who is from Birmingham area. He told me about it. He's like, Dave, you got to go to Expo. I'm like, what's Expo? He's like, you don't know what Expo is? I'm like, I've never heard of Expo before. He's like, it's the biggest tabletop gaming convention like in the UK. So it's, there's 50,000 people that go to this thing and you haven't heard of it. I'm like, no, I haven't heard of it. And he's like, okay, well, let's get you to Expo. And that was the first time I had attended. It was a few years ago, a couple of years ago, actually. This will be my third, this one coming up. And going to that for the first time, was amazing because when I first arrived, I didn't know what to expect. I was just going there as a free-floating agent of chaos.
Yeah.
And did I not? One of the first things that I ran into was this booth where both Iron Warrior cosplay and Exeter cosplay had their suits on display and I happened to see this Khorne Berserker suit, not just the Khorne Berserker suit, but Khorne the Betrayer suit
Oh,
that David Roth and his lovely partner Angel kind of assembled there. And he said to me, he's like, Dave. And I'm like, hey, uh, how are you? I see you have this thing here that my eyes definitely approve of. And then he just asked the question. He's like, would you like to go in the suit? And I said, oh my goodness, don't tease me with a good time. It's going to be an auto yes. Are you sure you want to do this? Like I'm aware of like the thousands of hours in like the hobby passion time that goes into constructing one of these things. And there's like the literally blood, sweat, and tears are in this thing. I'm going to say yes to this. And so he suits me up. And then I walk back to Gaz, right? And Gaz knows me. He knows that by now that if I'm walking towards him in a cosplay suit with no explanation, then there's no explanation needed because he's like, I'm not even going to ask. I'm not going to ask what happened. How'd you get in that? And then Foxy Boxy, Stephen Boxy, he's looking at, he sees it too, right? He's looking at me with his hands on his hips. And he's like, eyes, lower eyelid flex, squinting at me with a jealous face. And he's like, where did you get one of those? I'm like, I couldn't tell you, man. I just literally walked right into it. It's like, I want one. Like, oh, I don't even know where this came from. A nice dude named Dave, he just let me wear it. And he somehow trusted me to roam free with this thing. So hopefully I'll bring it back to him in one piece. And it was awesome. So that was the first experience. And then there was James and the team of UK Games Expo proper that run the entire thing.
Yeah.
And they deal with all the vendors and the sponsors and all that. And so we've developed a really good relationship with him and his team. And so now we find ourselves home based at the Wayland Games booth. And that's where we like to that's our home base where we kind of stay there. They're fantastic as well. They accommodate us, and they happen to carry Ravage Star as well. So there's a dual kind of a win-win situation where that happens, and they have all the games. Like their multi-stadium football field new facility that they have, which carries all the Scrooge McDuck levels of plastic crack, where you can get everything you can possibly want, is phenomenal, and it's great. Just being there, meeting people, being in the cosplay suits, which is the best thing ever. Like it's not socially acceptable to scream "blood for the blood god" in public. But when you do it, ironically, in a sea of 50,000 people, this is the most appropriate place to do it. And not even appropriate, but expected. So it's okay, all right. This is an emotional checkmate for me. It's wonderful. I'm gonna go and do this. It really as much as I can for as long as I can. So if you continue saying yes, then the answer is going to be yes from this side, and I'm going to run in there and do stuff, right? And so just there's that, and then meeting the people, meeting different viewers of the channel and different hobbyists and different friends who I've communicated with over the years but never had a chance to meet in person.
Yeah.
It's really the best thing ever, and the icing on the cake is just the sheer amount of games that are available to demo and play. Like I played this one game, I think it was called Pigs on a Trampoline, where it was like the game is literally you're bouncing these piggies and you got to get them into like this mud hole. And so there's these mini trampolines that, like, as a group of us, we're all surrounding this mud hole. And we each have our own trampoline and we're like bouncing these things. And that's the game, right? Who can get 3 in the first, right? Like, and here we are. It's like totally like the game designers are genius. They know that they're tapping into our mechanisms, our brain chemicals. They know it's like, okay, it's going to like screw with their brains until someone gets 3. And so we keep on bouncing them in, and it's all ages, right? There's like, here's a 5-year-old, and then here's a 40-year-old playing the same game, having the equal amount of obsessive fun over it. And so there's that too, the gaming demos and so that was a really non-succinct way of explaining my experience at UK Games Expo. But
well, I suppose your experience is quite different to most people's experiences of UK Games Expo. Most people don't get to shout "blood for the blood god" from an 8 foot.
I can't betray a cosplay outfit.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if we all could, we all would.
If you ever get the chance to, I recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a good experience.
How long does it take to become Khorne the Betrayer? Is it
Mentally or physically in a cosplay suit?
But I think
One's like
mentally you're already there.
I hope not.
Yeah,
0.8
not
milliseconds versus probably it's like to get into the suit proper takes multiple people. You got handlers. Ted, he's my producer, and he's there making sure I don't topple over forward. I got to rebalance myself on the stilts that I'm walking on, and but to their credit, Dave Exeter Cosplay, he's done a phenomenal job just kind of designing the different iterations of the multiple suits that he has. Like he's got his Night Lord, so he has the War Master suit, right? So that's the suit he's in. And so if you see the War Master walking around, he even has a shaved head too. So he's like, you see him, that's Dave, that's David Roth, and that's Exeter Cosplay, and he's the one that brings all the suits and makes it so that we can have fun in them. But to get inside the suit takes multiple people, and you're drenched in sweat, so that's real as well. And there is a bit of blood too because of the straps that go around the legs, which in some cases go around like the skin of the legs. And so if you got hair on your legs, you will no longer have hair on your legs by the end of it.
Okay.
But it is worth all that pain because there's your adrenaline is pumping massively.
Yeah. So it's more like sweat for the sweat god.
Exactly.
That's like a solution.
Yeah, it's the wrong god.
That's right. Shout out to Lady Kane, to Chloe, because she's always right there with us, and she and she's a blast to be with. Like, and you know what? I gotta say, like, she has the genetic disposition to just be born with warm fuzzies. Like, she looks at you and smiles, and she checkmates you. So it's kind of unfair. But she's a cornate warrior all day long. You just look at the stuff that she's painting up, and you
she loves a bit of that. But no, we love Lady Kane. She's been on the podcast actually. It was a really good.
We went up to Warhammer World with her, didn't we?
We played the 3rd edition
Spearhead.
Yeah,
with
nice. When they launched that one. That was cool.
Super nostalgic.
Yes, that was good. We it was completely last minute. We we weren't going to go up, and then we didn't really know about it, and then she had a couple of spare tickets, and it was kind of like on the Wednesday, and we went on the Friday, and but it was really good and really fun.
I like her style of reels, her painting tutorials. I like how they're all like they have a template. Like you instantly recognize it, and it's clearly understood. You could watch it without audio, and you can see the progression and understand what's happening. And there's a satisfying start and finish to the thing, and you know where it's going, and it's sped up. And so they're satisfying to watch. And I think it's exactly how reels and short form content needs to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think even if I'm like, oh, I'm not really interested in this model, like my monkey brain's like, what's this going to look like at the end? I need to know. I'm not even bothered, but I want to know what it looks like at the end. So it's and it always looks good, but
and then on top of that, she's a good painter, right? So it's like and so again, I'm a little jealous of her warm fuzzy ability. She just looks at me and smiles.
There you go, Chloe, if you're listening.
You're warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, you're warm and fuzzy.
We've sort of covered what UK Games Expo is for you. If you were talking to someone, I guess a bit like your friend was talking to you and said, you haven't heard of it, you've got to go. What would be your pitch to someone that has never been, loves hobbying, but never been to UK Games Expo? Why would you go?
Are they from the UK or are they from North America area? What side of the world are they from? That'd be a different thing that I would say to them.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking UK, but as you brought it up, I'd be
Okay, so
interested
if
to
they're
see
from
how you'd
okay,
convince someone to
yes.
do a
From
float.
from the UK, I would definitely lean to the dry sarcasm. So I'd be like, "Wait, hold on. There's like 1,000 vendors with plastic crack. You don't want to see that. No, you don't want to. No, there's a lot of dice and people that you haven't met that you're probably going to feel good about seeing, but no, they won't make you feel good. Yeah, don't watch that. And then like multiple days of this, and treating it as a vacation. No, it's definitely a work trip. You're definitely going to want to book off for that. Yeah, and it's probably depending on where it is, because geographically it's in Birmingham, which is there's easy to get to, but don't think that it's easy to get to. There's definitely going to be traffic on the motorway, so and so yeah, I might say something dumb and silly like that, but which you say the thing without saying it. You talk around the thing, and you know exactly what I'm saying when I say it. But to, I suppose, a North American, what I would say is, oh, by the way, there's a convention that exists in the UK, which is really massive, and it has 50,000 people, which I never heard of before a couple years ago, that you're probably going to want to go to, because I've been to it, and every time I've gone to it, it's been super fun. And really, it's like almost like their best kept secret. And so I don't know why this thing has been like kept on the down low for so long. And
Mm.
maybe it's my own perception, but I'd like to think that I got my fingers in many things. And so it's like it baffles me that I never heard of it before. But now I'm telling you about it. So if you don't go to it, now it's on you.
Mm,
Now you can feel the guilt and the FOMO of missing out. So you don't have to blame me in the future. You can't say to me, Dave, why didn't you tell me about it? Because this is me telling you about it right now.
there you go.
Yeah. I
So
mean, you've
Yeah.
convinced me, and I'm
yeah.
already going.
Well, I might. Well, so we've had it planned all year. The expo's coming up in May. We're going to go. So just so happens that the one weekend of the year that I potentially will be moving is the weekend of the expo. So it's like, oh no, we've got tickets, we've got accommodation sorted, everything, and I don't know if I can go this year. So
Oh,
So we're hanging on. We've got everything crossed, but
I'm
no.
kind of hoping
pain.
it gets delayed a few weeks so I can go, but I can't not move if
Yeah,
the
yeah,
opportunity comes up. So it's like, oh, I really want it to be. Everyone wants their move to get done and dusted. I'm like, no, please, just
leave it.
just another few weeks so I can go. So you might be kind of representing both of us. I can't go.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
yeah. No, it's
There are
tough.
some
Yeah, it's a tough one.
there
Um,
there's certainly there's some things I look forward to at UK GE this year, which I've noticed you guys you call it Expo. It's like a ubiquitous thing. It's like, oh, are you going
mm,
to Expo? And so it's normal for you, right?
mm.
Whereas if I were to hear Expo, I'd be like, what's that now? Where are you going? And I'm here. I am calling it the full name. Are you going to the UK Games Expo? Like it's just it feels so like informally formal by
Mm.
saying it properly. Uh, but the personal things I look forward to, other than collecting skulls at Wayland, I would say the Trench Crusade.
Mm.
I'll find myself over there and maybe some digging up some skulls in those trenches. And yeah, because I just want to. I love those games. And I love that game system. And I love the miniatures and talking to the creators heck, the fans of Trench Crusade is going to be fun. Just like, oh, what faction? What? Tell me why you're
Mm.
why are you a heretic legion heretic, and why do you follow the court of the seven-headed serpent? And like I can't wait to meet other deviants. I'm just going to be transparent. Like I want to meet other people who are equally as insane. And so it's like, okay, yes, here's catharsis and here's validation for the insanity. Outside of this place, it's not allowed, but right here, it's perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
and
would be interesting to
yeah,
see how much. Yeah, I think it's going to get a lot of attention.
Trench
Yeah,
Crusade.
I feel like it's its first. In the UK, it's its
First proper kind of
first big outing.
yeah. Now
Yeah.
they did go to Adepticon, so they were
Okay.
there. And
Yeah.
so I suppose if this is and they have been to a number of conventions. I believe there was one in Italy they went to recently. There was a convention in Italy. I forget what it's
Okay.
called. It's the first I have ever heard of that one too.
Yeah.
But certainly the first time at UK
Yeah.
GE.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm curious to see that. And I'm gonna do the muscle memory thing where I just pull out the phone and start recording stuff. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I'll be at the booth there and seeing the paint jobs and seeing the cool Galactic Armory cosplay bits that they've printed and that are on display there, because those are super cool too.
Yeah.
And yeah, just getting immersed in all of that. All that trench goodness. Like, did you see the minis? Like, the minis are nuts. I love
Yes.
those minis so
Yeah.
much. Yeah, like
They're kind of weird and wonderful,
w-
in equal
yes,
quantities. It's kind of
yes.
what you want.
It,
Um,
I love the way you describe completely blasphemous.
Yeah, I was going to
Like
say,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a fantastic way of saying that.
Mm.
Yeah, and like you see it, and you know what? I find this is a common experience. Like those minis in particular, it's like, I can see how that would be really offensive, but I really love it. Like, that's my response when I see it, and
Yeah.
it's almost like this curiosity. It's like you're looking around. It's like, yeah, it's probably really offensive to people, but yet I find myself in a sea of people who aren't offended by it and who are just like loving how gruesomely awesome it is. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It could be my confirmation bias. I'm probably just like filtering out the people who are offended by it.
Yeah, yeah.
Ignore those.
It doesn't
They don't
stick to my
count.
memory, right? Yeah,
What did you say before? It makes 40k look like My Little Pony.
Yeah. It does.
Oh,
Yeah, it's definitely, grimdark for sure.
yes,
For sure.
absolutely grimdark. Titan Forge, I'll go over there too. I'll go see Romic and Magic, and I'll see the boys over there and see. I mean, they designed the Just Move Berserker Dave, so they're fantastic artists, and they have a game called Bloodfields, and so it's
Okay.
like before I even played the game, it's like, wait, you made a game called Bloodfields, and you're just telling me about it now?
Yeah.
Oh,
You had me
okay.
at blood.
Yeah.
You had me at blood, right? I'll meet you on the field. And then I saw this cool mini where his name is Devlin. I remember this because Devlin Mudd. His name is Devlin.
Mm.
He's a demon jester, right? He's basically this jester who's riding a flaming skull. And I'm like, okay, I don't care what faction that is, but that's definitely the faction I'll be playing in this game because it just looks really, really cool. So it
Yeah.
won the rule of cool for me too. And we've since played it in the studio, and so it's fun. Doing all and it's skirmish size, right? So it's like you just have a handful of models, and you can play a couple games in an afternoon.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I'll go over there and see that and kind of poke around. And yeah, I like to just hop. Honestly, hopping around and just getting lost in the sea of plastic crack
Yeah.
is an enjoyable
What it's
experience.
all about.
It sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah, the hobby ADHD, and it brings you in various places, and I love there. I mean, there's certainly the social aspect too, and I mean, there's the social consideration of prepare for a certain level of perhaps exhaustion that you might not
Yeah.
otherwise experience. Drink water, get rest,
Mm.
sleep. It's okay to unplug and decompress and go up to your hotel room and then come back later. But the fun aspect is there's almost like the social barrier that's dropped, where you can go up to a booth, you can look at something that you're interested in, and you can stand next to a complete stranger, and you're looking at the same thing, and you kind of do the Fight Club nod, right, where you're like, you're like, blood for the blood god, you're like, skulls for the skull throne, and like you're with your people,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
yeah. Definitely.
yeah. And it's just the best thing ever.
Mm.
And then, when there's a wah in the background, you join in the wah, and it's perfectly appropriate. So that's one. I think that's probably the best thing, in my opinion. That's my best kind of takeaway from any convention. Really, is the fact that you are with your own kind.
Yeah, definitely.
And there's like this mass feeling of acknowledgement and kind of social validation for the thing that really our thoughts almost default to. When we're at work and we're kind of working on things, and then all of a sudden, the monkey brain, in our own mind kicks in, and we're like, oh, what color scheme am I going to add to that right now? And so you're thinking about these things on the regular. And so when you go and immerse yourself into that, like, really wonderland of so many wonderful options, it can be quite overwhelming. But at the end of the day, you leave with your loot. And it's like, yeah, I got this, and like the reason why you have 4 of the same paints, right? Like it still feels good, and you remember those moments for years to come. Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
I think it's there's sort of at the beginning you're standing in front of 2 giant halls full of dopamine, and it's kind of it's your job to go and sort of milk it.
Oh,
you can.
That's a way to put it.
Here's the bucket, milk away. Yeah, you should sell dopamine buckets at the beginning.
Yeah. Fill them up, guys.
Yeah, come back, fill it up, and it's like trick or treating, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
dump it, then come back, with an empty slate.
The
Yeah.
exhaustion is definitely real though. You remember last year we went,
Yeah.
went around the expo, came back in the entire. We got an Airbnb. We went back and we were like, let's get a takeaway, sit down. And then we thought, oh, let's play some board games. I can't remember what we tried to play, but
Everdell, I think.
Everdell, yeah.
Yeah.
After about 10 minutes, I think you were laying on the sofa like, I just want to die. Just let me go to sleep, please. We need to sleep.
We need to get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was gonna say super ambitious, right? And I think that's probably a testament of like muscle memory. It's like, hey, well, what do we do? Yeah, let's play a game because that's what we would normally do, and then decompress and whatever. It's like, oh yeah, sleep.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah, I plan for a good week. A week of decompression afterwards is what I do. Yeah. If there's anything done, it's because it's in my system and I have to do it. Otherwise, I can't sleep, or I just don't plan anything important, like work-wise anyway, right? There's like social posts and things like that, which are going to happen anyway. Because again, that's muscle memory. I can't help myself. I am obsessed with that stuff. But yeah, like projects that require like attention to detail, where you don't want to make mistakes. If that is the type of work that you are engaged in, and you have the ability to kind of unplug mentally from that, I certainly recommend it. Right. And I know a lot of people have to go like back to work right away. And they don't have the type of work where it's like related to the thing itself, like having, like being a content creator, and like it is kind of like you go to a convention and it's almost like it's kind of work going to a convention, right? And so it's obviously different in that case, but there's a lot of consideration for rest and kind of recharge. You got to recharge from the recharge, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's kind of it's I suppose it's slightly similar to what you said earlier about kind of the mini Wargamer Dave and the just Dave. But I think when we're talking about going to like UK Games Expo, it's sort of like go around, see some vendors, like maybe if we want to kind of like reach out and maybe work with a few people and like do some content and promote the show, and then we're almost like, right, okay, that's kind of done. Tomorrow we're going as us, as punters, with a wallet full of money, and right, okay, what do we want to buy? And we always joke and say, we have a budget which is, I'm taking 300 quid and I don't want to come back with anything. That's the aim. If I come back with any money, I've failed miserably.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, mission not accomplished. There's money left over.
But yeah, one last quick thing is, you mentioned Adepticon,
which is on our bucket list. We've got to go.
Yeah, that's definitely up there. We will be going one year. But we're just wondering, talking to someone over the pond. How does it sort of compare? How is it? Is it similar? Is Adepticon just a bigger expo, or is it slightly kind of different the way it's set up?
So I would say one of the biggest differences between Expo and Adepticon is, with Expo you have miniature tabletop wargaming, you have board games, you have RPGs, you have a lot of the holistic tabletop gaming experience. Whereas at Adepticon, first and foremost, it's miniature tabletop wargaming. And then there's stuff in addition to that. So it's mostly miniature tabletop wargaming. And so Warhammer is massive, and it's the potency of, I suppose, the demographic that tunes into that specifically, right? It's like would you get D&D players at Adepticon? Like, yes, but comparatively speaking, not nearly in the same degree as you would at a place like Expo, right? So, and because of that, and because of, I suppose, the stuff that you guys would be engaged in on the regular, and the stuff that I'm engaged in, because it's mostly that, when you go to Adepticon, there's a higher concentration and a higher probability of meeting people that are more like-minded. And so you're going to meet other tabletop gamers, and you're going to see other opportunities to engage in tabletop gaming in ways in which will tickle that dopamine button very well.
Milk it. It will get milked.
Yeah. And it's actually even, I would say it's actually kind of worse in terms of how much more fun you can have
Really?
specifically in that realm, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I would say it's a different experience. It's not. I don't say it's better or worse. It's different. You like, for instance, because there's a high concentration on like the miniatures and the painting and the tabletop gaming. There's a lot. It feels like there's more options for that potent experience. Like there's painting competitions, and which is funny because like there's painting competitions at Expo too. Like there's, if one were to look at it objectively, it's like, well, at Expo you get 5 times the amount of people, and you could do all the same things you could do at Adepticon. You could do them at Expo, and so it's like, yes, objectively true. However, if you were to yell "Blood for the Blood God," more people would join in at Adepticon. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
you kind of summed it up in that they're both brilliant, but they're different. You know,
Yes.
it's apples and oranges. So
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, Adepticon sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. But yeah. Yeah. No. Summed up very well. Yeah. Okay, guys. So.
Yeah. You're going to embarrass me in front of Dave now.
Oh,
aren't you?
100%.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's time for Paint Grey eBay.
Oh, it's the hands that annoy me. Why do you do the hands?
It's both.
Oh. Right, let's do this.
So we have got a special,
Yeah. Almost themed around Dave.
almost themed, I'd say. if I had to, I'd say it was themed. We have Khorne the Betrayer. We have Lord Invocatus.
Is that right? Yeah.
We have Khorne, Lord of Skulls.
So one goes on eBay, one you
Mhm.
keep but it's grey, and one you have to paint up. So in
Yeah.
true fashion, Dave, you could go first. What one would you? Yeah, you can do any order you like, but
Okay. So when I saw the 3 minis there, and you were mentioning them, I thought, okay, Lord of Ikatus, definitely eBay. I would paint the Lord of Skulls, and I would leave Khorne Grey, because Khorne Grey as is fine because he's not converted. Khorne must be converted.
Okay, I like it.
To be true Khorne, right? You got to make Khorne your own, and because there's so many Khorne conversions, there's a reason why there's so many Khorne conversions out there.
yeah,
Yeah. So to make him gray is to just accept the natural organic hobby process that Khorne was always meant to have.
there we go. That's a great answer.
Yeah, Lord Invocatus, straight on eBay. Take us through that, just a little bit.
Yep.
What's the thoughts behind that? You're just not a fan.
Well, it's because Lord of Skulls is more impressive to have, and then you got to keep Khorne and convert. Like when he's in a 3-way argument with he sits back and listens. So there's kind of no contest there. Now, if you threw Angron in the mix, then that would be a different story, and then there would probably be.
We did have Angron on there. We thought, do we put Angron in? Oh.
Yeah, then it starts to get tasty.
Ah, see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a logic. Yeah.
And how many of those models do you have?
What, the Lord of Skulls? Or?
Yeah, well, any of them.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you should mention that, because I once had a Lord of Ikatus, but now he's. Was he eBayed?
You mean he was grey, then you painted him, and then you put him on eBay?
I think, ironically, I still have him, but he's not painted. And with Khorne, I have Khorne, and I have Lords of Skulls.
Lords of Skulls.
Yeah, but my favorite one is the one that's converted from a Chaos Defiler. Yeah. Shout out to Augustus Brass and Blightforge for that one. They helped in the hobby project, and they just made it awesome. Yeah, can you imagine that though? The 8 legs of the Defiler.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
because
so awesome.
That I say, for me, it would be the Lords of Skulls. As is, the Lord of Skull would be on eBay. I don't particularly like the model that much, and it's because of the tracks. They'll use the 8 legs. That sounds amazing.
Yes,
but the tracks for me are a bit like, I don't know. I'm not keen. So I'd probably eBay the Lord of Skulls. I would.
I mean, I wouldn't argue with him.
No. I
But...
wouldn't argue with any. I wouldn't argue with any of them.
In fact, I might. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we could outrun one of them.
I would probably, same as Dave. I would keep Khorne the Betrayer grey, and I would paint the Lord Invocate. I can't say it. I like that model.
So a flip.
A flip, yeah.
Hmm.
I just really like the Skull Crusher. I like the pose of the. Yeah, I like it. So that's personally me. What about you, Dan?
I would paint Khorne the Betrayer.
Oh.
I like that there's a lot of from a painting point of view.
Which one are you looking at? Sorry?
Yeah, Khorne the Betrayer. There's a lot of
as is bog standard.
I mean,
unconverted.
I think Dave's kind of converted me to the view that that it's. I mean, converting anything's cooler, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But if I had to, take them all at face value, I would. I'd still paint. Khorne the Betrayer. There's just so many things on there. There's skulls. There's chains. There's skin. There's it's got it. Gold trim, spikes. I mean, there's a lot of that.
All of them. All chaos. There's always
Invictus
trim.
But I'd leave Lord Invictus grey.
So you copy me and you eBay the.
I think you kind of said it. I think that. Don't know. I'm not a massive tank man.
No. So on the track on legs, great idea. Tracks.
Yeah, on legs. I've got to. We've got to see that. That's. Yeah, I'll put it up. A picture of the converted, assuming it's on the internet somewhere.
Oh,
will be in the middle of the picture now for anyone that's watching rather than listening.
Yeah, I'm going to come now.
Yeah. So, just out of pure interest, if we'd have swapped
Angron for Lord Invictus.
Yeah, Lord Invictus for Angron.
Ooh. Well, then I guess the Lord of Skulls goes on eBay at that point.
Oh, straight on eBay from being painted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose your kind of your connection to Khorne the Betrayer and how infinitely it can be converted is sort of like that. You need that.
It stays
like
great.
You're not going to paint it, but you're definitely not going to put it on eBay because the possibility of what that could become, is endless. So yeah, no, I get that.
Sin to get rid of them.
Yeah. But Angron. Oh, I think we've had Angron.
I think we had Angron before as well, so I thought let's do a different one. But
he normally does pretty well.
He normally gets painted.
Yeah. Not surprisingly. Well, that's it.
There we go.
Great, Beth.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a Angron Khorne conversion where it is Khorne, but he's the size of Angron, and he's got his like muscle arm out.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I mean, he would have to lose the wings just to, stay consistent. But he, in a similar way that Tuska Demon Killer was, kind of trapped on that demon world and like fighting endlessly and became, one of these. Because what's the lore for the orcs there? Like they fight and they get bigger and they fight and they get bigger.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, if Khorne's that big, if he's the size that, so he must have been, there's some sort of orc spores went on him. And he like that gene integrated into his existing gene seed, and he just got bigger. He's now Angron size. That would be nuts. Like, and then obviously Gorechild would like have grown with him, and so that's cleaving something impaled into the ground beside him on the base. Obviously, it's the best way of depicting that one. And just I think that'd be a really cool conversion.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. One for Pete the Wargamer.
Yeah. How do you get the part big enough though? Do you can't portray his head? You'd have to like sculpt that, surely.
I think the Lord of Skull's head, Lord of Skull's helmet would probably have to come into play there a little bit converted.
Yeah.
I think that size ratio is probably close. Probably the same.
Not that you thought about this at all, Dave.
Is this what you were thinking about when you were brushing your wrist?
Yeah.
That's right. One of those default thoughts that you kind of go to, right?
Yeah. Right. Well, that's it. We've got to know Dave.
Yeah.
We've talked about UK Games Expo. We've ranked some Khorne models. Yeah, so just lastly, anything, Dave, you want to kind of shout out? I'll kind of start by saying that obviously you're at UK Games Expo, which is in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, obviously guys can meet you there. They can witness you screaming "Blah blah blah God" at the top of your lungs, which is always a nice experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything you're working on. Obviously, you've got Ravage Star at UK Games Expo available to buy. I'm aware of your terrain that's kind of in the ether.
Oh, yes.
The mini wargaming stuff. So
Yes.
but yeah, anything you want to talk about?
I think probably just that. To be fair, that's the kind of the current, the big campaign that we're kind of working on right now, which is the Ruins of Perdition, that
Yes.
Gothic terrain set, which is
very cool.
has socketed, kind of pre-magnetized holes that you can just add some magnets to, and then create endless options, which caters very well to storage. Right, you can collapse it down, and you can.
Yes,
it's very storage efficient. So yeah, that's the next thing. We've sent out a bunch of sample copies to a number of people. You're certainly welcome to have some as well. And kind of, I think we're at the stage where we can. I think celebrate's the right word. Like we've done a number of different projects over the years, and so terrain is one of those things that's certainly near and dear to our hearts, because that's what got us into the hobby, like making terrain tutorials. 17 years ago on the YouTube channel, making terrain tutorials.
Cool.
Like sprinkling modeling flock on things and making stuff out of polystyrene. And so now we're at the stage where we're 3D printing it, and we're physically producing it, sending it out all over the world, and making it available. So yeah, the Ruins of Perdition. So miniwargamer.com/perdition. Cool. You can get a free mini if you sign up before we launch. And that's the governor. He has a massive statue in the set. And so it's statues, ruins, and bridges, and scatter terrain, and like everything you can possibly want in multiple gaming systems. So,
it looks very cool. And I think terrain as well is something that's kind of often put to the back, kind of sidelined. So yeah, it's and yeah, storage wise,
that's great.
One of the main,
that's always the problem, isn't it?
gripes that people have, taking these huge boxes to kind of your local a gaming club or whatever, for terrain. But yeah, no, sounds really cool. So yeah, definitely check that out. We'll be working on a few bits, but bit of Zoomtalis, and but yeah, mainly kind of looking forward to the expo.
Well, hopefully we'll both be there,
and we can kind of just enjoy the show and spend loads of money, and then sort of think about contemplate our lives when we get back.
Hopefully your move doesn't overlap, and hopefully you get to go.
Yes, hopefully. Fingers crossed. But if not, you have to live through you. You ringing you every half an hour. How's it going? What you found? Oh, you found me anything yet?
Yeah. Here's me in a
Space Marine outfit.
Yeah. No, it's been absolutely brilliant having you, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. It's been really good. So obviously wish you all the luck with anything you're kind of working on and stuff for the future. And see you later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.